Alright, you guys, here's a little more help on this worksheet in case you need it from after the lessons. Notice that those first ones, I've even got a couple examples already done for you too, just so you get the idea of what I'm looking for there. Problems 1 through 8 list the transformations of how the graph of the equation would compare to the parent function. And as you can see, 1 through 5 are examples, or 1 and 5 are examples for you already. So if you take a look at some of these are going to have multiple transformations. Some will just have maybe one. Okay, look at number 3. That one is just a stretch. But realize it's a fraction. Some people like to say, oh, it's a fraction, so it's going to be, I think I spelled that wrong. You guys, extra C in there. I don't know what I'm doing. Get out of there, okay? Some people would say, oh, that's a fraction, so it's going to be a shrink, right? But no, if it's something that's still bigger than 1, right? That's a number that's greater than 1, then that makes it a stretch. It's going to be higher than the parent. And again, you could use the fraction there, like times 3 over 2. If it's a nice number, time multiplied by 2 or by 3, it can be like 3 times as high as all of the points on the parent. That makes a little more sense, but even times 3 over 2 is good too. Okay, so that one's going to be a stretch. Going down to maybe one down here, like number 7. This one I think is going to have 3 bullet points that you're going to end up writing because there's a negative out front of the square root. So that tells me that this is going to be a reflection. Okay. Again, a reflection means it's going to look like this on the graph. It's going to have that first point is going to face downwards, like a reflection over the x-axis. Okay. So it's going to be a reflection. I know that. And then in terms of what's under the square root, since it's x plus 1, remember that kind of tries to fool us. It's backwards from where it looks. You might think plus 1, oh, I go to the right, like further down the x-axis. But no, this will be left 1 is what that means. That'll be a translation left 1 from the origin or from where the parent function would be. And then the plus 2 on the outside, though, that is, again, almost like we think of our y-intercept or like we think of other transformations. That one is true to the sign that it shows us. That means it's going to be up 2. So this, compared to the parent, this will be a reflection. So face this way, and it'll be left 1. The starting point will be left 1 and up 2 from the parent function. Okay. Well, I'll just kind of mention, just as you can see here, this one had 3 bullet points. Number 8 looks like it's going to have 4 bullet points that you're going to have for transformations. Okay. But again, there's a little more help on those problems if you need it. Okay, on the ones that you graph. Now again, on these also, you're going to list the transformation. Notice I've started number 9 off for you. So if it's a shrink, it's a stretch, it's a reflection, whatever it may be. Okay, this one's a shrink, and it's like dividing by 2 compared to the parent function values, okay? And then you're going to make a table. And again, I'm going to pick out 0, 1, 4, 9 on this particular one. I've already got it started for you. When you put those in, realize you're going to take the square root of each of the numbers and then times it by 1/2. Okay, so square root of 0 is still 0, times 0 is, well, what do you know, calculation 0. Okay, plug in 1, square root of 1 is 1, times it by 1/2, that's still just going to be 1/2. Okay, square root of 4 is 2, times by 1/2 is 1, square root of 9 is 3, times by 1/2 is 1.5, okay, or 3 over 2, however you want to put it, okay. But there's what this one's going to start to be for a table. And then when you go down to page 2, page 2 on here, sorry, but you'll plot those points and you'll make something that, again, looks kind of like the square root function that we've seen. It starts at 0, 0, 1.5, 4, 1, 9, 1.5, okay, and it'll be a little flatter than the parent function, but it'll look something like that, okay. Now, a lot of these you'll be able to pick those numbers out, but now let's go to number 11. So here's where I can see people having a little trouble. So, yep, I started you off on a nice one here where you got to pick out 0, 1, 4, 9, right? And why do we pick those numbers? Well, we're being smart about the x values we pick because we're trying to pick numbers that'll make perfect squares in there, okay? Nothing says you have to, but that just makes your life a lot easier when you're making a table, all right? So in this one, you got to kind of think ahead. So what number could I put in? Again, still keep in mind these numbers, like 0, 1, 4, 9. Those are the numbers you want to end up with underneath the square root. So think about what could you plug in over here for x that you would add 4 and you'd get 0 because you know the square root of 0. Well, the first one would be negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 would be 0, and the square root of that would be 0. Okay, so we're going to just be smart about the numbers we pick out, or try to kind of do some number sense here and figure out what can we plug in that would make these nice numbers, nice ordered pairs to work with. Okay. Next one would be, as I think about it, would be negative 3 because I want to put in something that would give me 1 as the square root. And I've seen people kind of put these numbers over here, even like just off to the side, like 0 is what I'm trying to get to in the square root, 1, okay? And again, 4 would be the next one, and then 9 would be the next one. So if that helps you, maybe put those off to the side and think that's what I'm trying to get to, okay? If I put in -3, -3 plus 4 gives me 1. Square root of 1 is 1, okay? Now we're trying to get to 4. So what could I plug in for x that'll make it 4? Well, 0 is what would actually do that in this case. And then square root of 4 would be 2. And then what can I plug in to x that would give me 9? Well, in this case, it'd be 5. So if I plug in 5 plus 4 would be 9. Square root of 9 would be 3. So again, when you're trying to figure these out, maybe kind of pick out some nice numbers that will help you get integer answers, or get, integer answers or natural number answers. You can put in +1 if you want for x, but then you're going to get an irrational number. It's just not going to be as nice. Try to pick out nice ones to help you graph, okay? Okay, on the next page, just notice I did graph the two that we did on the other, on the previous page, and I'm not requiring you guys to put the parent function on there, but I would really recommend it, you guys. I think you really should, to get a good understanding of what's happening here. Again, that first one we did was a shrink, as we pointed out. It's half as tall, you could think, as half as all the parent points, all the y values for them. Well, they're shrunk down half as much. Okay, so this makes it a shrink of a half, and that's the red graph that I've got here. It was 0.5 times the square root of x. So yep, you can see that it shrunk underneath the parent function, okay? We also did 11, which we just saw was left 4. So really it's going to look just like the parent function, right? Okay, it actually has the same kind of combination of points here, 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 2, 9, 3. And all those points are kind of in the same spots on the red one, but we found the ordered pairs that we need in the table, but it looks just the same, but just slid left 4. So it's a shift of 4 left from the parent, okay? So there's the graph of those two, just to give you an idea what it'll look like over here. Again, I really recommend you should put the parent on there every time as well. It does help, okay? And then down below the last ones, again, notice, okay, you can use Desmos to help you. You don't have to hand graph these. Use Desmos to help. You can, but you're just trying to find the domain and range. And again, I hope that as you get better at these in practice, maybe you'll be able to just figure them out just by looking at the equation, okay? Look at number 15. Okay, if you think about the graph, and again, this takes practice. It just takes learning. Nobody knows it from day one. The more you do this, the more you'll be able to kind of picture in your head what's going on. That's what we're trying to do, is build that knowledge right now. And then maybe you'll be able to do it kind of just like this, okay? So the domain for this one, again, realize what happened there. It's, if you think about the transformation, it might help. It would be right 6, okay? So the graph, on the parent function, usually you would start at the origin, but this will be right 6, and then it'll look like this. So you can think for the domain for this one, it's going to be x is greater than or equal to 6. Also, just think about what you're plugging in, okay? Does your inequality make sense? What if you try to put in 5? What if you put 5 in for x? What would happen? 5 minus 6 would be -1. It'd be no real answers, right? It doesn't work for the solutions we're trying to find here. So it won't work for our graph. So, yep, it seemed to make sense that domain has to be greater than or equal to 6. Could it be 6? Yep, it could. Or anything bigger, and that would give me a positive under the square root, okay? And then for the range for this one, since there wasn't any up and down movement, the y direction, okay, then it's just going to be y is greater than or equal to 0. It wasn't a reflection. So kind of like I've made on the very, very small little sketch of this graph, it's going to go up. So y is greater than or equal to 0 for the range, okay? I don't know if there's another one maybe I would do on here. I think I'm going to let you take it from here. If you still need help, email me or Zoom me or let me know how it's going, you guys. Okay, I do want to hear about that, all right? Good luck.